Hi, everybody, and welcome. I hope everybody's wonderful. No, Diane, I hadn't come on the camera yet. It never fails. The minute I set up the camera, I've got Homer hollering. I'm just hooting and hollering. So I do. I took it off because the little stinker started his hollering or his howling. Actually, I call it his hollering. Hi, Jerry, and so I do turn it down because or turn off the picture and mute it till he settles down. He's like that little special 2-year-old of your, I used to love that you get on the phone and they start making all kinds of noise. So, oh, Terry, good. I'm glad you guys did. And I know that when I was on last, I had talked, I was going to do a Sunday. And I have to tell you before we get started, well, my granddaughters, the three of them, but they're all okay. We're in on the freeway to Salt Lake City, Utah, and they had an accident, and they're not hurt, but the car was totaled. Hi, Julie. Car was totaled because all airbags came out on the freeway, though, and God was with them because they were turned the other way. The one car hit. There wasn't much damage except for the passenger side, and then there was some semis coming, but the car was off. So kind of threw a wrench in Sunday. And today, so what I'm going to do is there's no reason we're going to get this page one completely done. And then I'm going to just keep moving on because the decorating will come later and get hopefully the front of page two to catch us up. But we definitely will have some catch up days. So today we're going to do page one. We're not doing the decorating. Remember, this is going to come later, and these are very simple, and we'll come back to decorating those. But we're going to create our flaps and these two flaps. Then we'll turn the page to the back. Same thing. And we'll get this done. And my goal is, as long as we don't go, 2 hours max sitting with my knee, but it's doing so good. I'm excited. We'll move on. And of course, this is our Simple Stories frame. And hopefully we can get these flaps on here and we'll pick up and then get this decorating done. And then we'll be pretty good. So we're just going to work ahead. We're just going to work and see how it goes. And if you've got your cutting guide, go ahead and grab it. If not, that's okay. Just start jotting down everything with your notebook. And I want you to pull out. I want you to pull out these two sheets. We're going to use the polka dots because they're so cute. And I know you're going to cut into your cut aparts, and it's okay because we do have you do have 3 sheets. Remember, you've got the 3 sheets, so no worries. And then we are going to want our 4x6 cut aparts. We did cut into those last week. I'm using the most wonderful time of the year and the one right next to it. Okay. And we did cut those last week. So you probably have them also. So I'm just going to grab those. And then we will be using some part of the paper collection because we double mat those because the flaps are bigger. Okay, so pull those out. And then if you've got your cutting guide, like I said, grab that. Camera doesn't like my scoreboard. I love my scoreboard. Let me grab my other one. Yeah, I was using that for gluing, but it'll be okay. Okay, camera just doesn't like that translucent when we get there. So I'm going to bring over my 4-pound. See how I'm now used to that bigger surface of the Caterpillar. See, look how long. I mean, even though that hangs over, I just love it. But I do, I love this. But I'm loving this end open. But we're okay. We're okay. Let's go ahead and let's cardstock for the front of page 1. Hi, Wendy. Cardstock for the front of page 1. We have a 5.5 by 8.5. We have a 6.5 by 8.5, and you have two 4.5 by 6 3/8. And I want to go ahead and start with my 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to just score all of our pieces. So with my 5.5 inch piece at the top of the scoreboard, we want to score it 1/2 inch. Next one is going to be my 6.5. So it's 6.5 this way, 8.5 this way. And I want to score this again at 1/2 inch. Hi, Tina. Hi, Elizabeth. Well, the notifications, they've changed them, but you do have to do that on your end if you need. So you have to somehow go in. It used to be super easy. I don't know how to tell you, but you do have to set your notifications. Not sure how to do it. Maybe someone can help us there. So this is my 4.5 by 6 3/8. See, our pages are 6.5. So when we go 6 3/8, we don't interfere with the two flaps on the sides. So you're going to put this with the 4.5 inch at the top of your scoreboard, and I want you to score that at 1/2 inch. And you're going to repeat that with your second one. Everything one. I don't have my no slips. I have these little no slip thingies, and they work so well. I need to put them on this side so it doesn't slide around my desk. Hey, let's go ahead and just burnish up those score lines. And grab our scissors. I like all three of my bone folders. Hi, Rena. How are you? I do like to mat these before we put them in the book. So we are going to mat them before we put them in the book. Now, this one does overlap. Now, in my book, I did use a magnet. So this is where in the list you're going to want a large magnet. Okay. And this is also where we want to make sure need something just to remind us that on the back side is going to be a magnet. Now, oh, hi, Bonnie. Oh, Bonnie is getting ready. She's getting better too to do lives. Heather, Bonnie, and I, we both decided to do knee replacements together. Okay, now if you remember, our page is 6.5 inches wide. Let me see something. See, that's going to overlap. Let me move the book. I need the other book. I need our unfinished book because I made the pages wider. So this is going to go on the left-hand side. So there is one thing that I'm going to check before we start. Looks like mine is a little bit longer. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes when we use different cutters, believe it or not, and because this is a little bit longer than my page, and I did cut these. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to cut these down. I did cut these pages right after, pretty soon after I had surgery. I was just trying to get everything back together. And so I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim it just a hair short of 8.5. Do not like them to. I do not like them. No, I don't. I just don't like them to hang over the page. So mark yours. Check it out first and make sure that you are happy with the length. So let's just check this length one more time before we get started. See, hair short, I prefer it that way. Again, yes, don't like anything hanging over these edges. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my other scissors. Bonnie and I, in fact, were just talking because Bonnie, before she had surgery, been a bit, has made a very beautiful baby boy album. And we've actually put together a kit for baby boy or baby girl. You can choose. As soon as she's back on her hot feet again, as we say, and ready to do lives, then she will be doing that kit, and it will be on the website. So I'm pretty excited. Now, this is where you definitely can go ahead, and Homer's snoring like a sailor, let me tell you. You can definitely go ahead and miter your corners if you don't want them to be square. Now you'll see that I have set it here at what my page is the 6.5. Oh, he is snoring. So it's 6.5. And I don't know why I'm doubting that it's 6.5, but it is. And what I'm going to do is turn this over, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to bring it in a good thumb lift. I'm going to put down my first magnet. I do not want to forget to put this down. Now, you can also do ribbon, and you would do it just like we did on the cover. Add ribbon, you can add a magnet, you can add Velcro. You know how you just have that weird feeling you're not sure the size? It's been a long day. We've been working. Well, Tanya mostly has been working on those warehouse boxes. Super excited. They are going to be so cool. We haven't had a warehouse box in a while, and they are jammed packed. Well, you know, ours are always jam packed. So those will be coming early next week. Okay, take that off. And what I'm going to do now is I want to set my bottom page because I want to mat this now. I don't want to mat it on the book. It's just a lot simpler. I'm just going to line this up. My bottom is just a hair short. Please don't stick that. My bottom is just a hair short. I cut it that way. Lining it up here on the line of my scoreboard. There we go. My magnets are all set because see, one needs to be on the front. One needs to be on the back. You can mat this on your book. I find it simpler. I like to do it this way. So what we're going to do is cut our pieces of pattern paper now. So this one is 6. Now this one has become 5. I'm going to grab my Santa Claus Lane. And I want to show you something. I'm going to cut this at 8. Well, I'm going to cut it. No, Our page is 8.5. Sorry. So I'm going to cut it at 8 3/8. That is not 8 3/8. And in all reality, now these are still usable. Put those aside. And our first one is going to be 5 7/8. And my next one will be 4 7/8. And yes, I'm going to save this. It's going in the bag. Now, our next piece, we're going to do this again, but remember how we cut this bottom? I put it so we save the bottom. I'm going to do it the opposite way, except these you're going to cut up a little more, but sometimes I just use words, so that's okay too. I'm going to do my first cut at 8 3/8. Oh, what? Maybe it's the bottom. Okay, no, we cut the bottom. What was I thinking? But still, I can now cut this out. I really could cut that circle out, even though it's close and still work. And I can cut out my Christmas tree. So now I can set that one aside. These, this is going to, this is going on the inside. So I'm going to now cut this at 5 7/8. And 4 7/8. Oh, is your sound acting funny? I know lately we have some that say there's are and some that say there's aren't. I'm really sorry. I've bought so much new equipment, I don't know what else to do. I've tried microphones, and I know some of you still get that wonky sound. I'm sorry, Annie. And I'm going to go ahead with my, remember, I'm just using the potting soil. You can use reds, you can use greens, and I'm just doing a potting soil all around the edge. You know, and there is a mocha color. So I felt that it went really well with this. And I did not double mat on these little doors, these flaps. Annie, if you need help with anything, you just holler. Usually Tanya is on with us, but Tanya is over in my warehouse and they are working on warehouse boxes that will be coming next week. So get yourself ready because they are awesome. Super awesome. And I was there helping all day, and then I ran home, had dinner. Annie, I have a question, and I hope you can hear me. When it's recorded, and if you go back and listen, is the sound okay? That's what I'm curious about. Okay, so I have two of the bigger and two of the smaller. Oh, Patricia, warehouse boxes, and they're amazing. Okay, remember we've got the two small that are 4 7/8 by 8 3/8. I forgot. I did cut this a little shorter, so I need to check my length. My length looks good. And I wanted more of a plane. I wanted to be able to put photos here. If you are if you're a loco, I am. No, if you are local, we will have some in the store also. Oh, that's really odd. I'm not sure what goes on with these cameras. I even have the great big microphone, and you guys, it still was doing it. So not sure. I really think our phones do a better job than this equipment. Yes, Tanya is a master at creating our warehouse boxes because she creates them so that you can, I mean, they make sense. It's not just stuff thrown in there. You're going to be able to put together your projects and have lots of stuff to get you ready all year long. And we need room for the new stuff. Right. And back. Oh, there's my magnet. I saw that. Hi, Cindy. Scared me for a minute. I thought my magnet was, no, I'm going to trim this just a hair. And that means I have to re-ink. Oh, it's okay. I'm just so happy to be crafting with you tonight. Okay. We're going to now repeat this with the bigger piece, which is the front. I always like to make sure I burnish that as flat as possible. Heather, it's time for your boys to move out. If they're telling you things like that, they need to move out. They cannot tell mom she does not need any more scrapbook stuff because as a mom, that is your privilege. Okay, well, I'm just going to do a little trimming. Let's do both because I know if one needs it, they both need it. I love my cutter. I'm just glad to see you back with us, Heather. And let's put this down when you've got it all trimmed and inked and you're ready. Couldn't get a hold of it there for a minute. And the back side. I fit real quick. Looks great. How many of you are counting down 1 month from Sunday? We get to turn our clocks. We get to spring ahead. I saw that on the news today and I was like, springtime. Let's see, it is none of their, oh, Diane, that is right. Especially if mom doesn't have any other spending behaviors. She needs to scrap it. Okay, we're going to put these in our book. I'm loving this book. So your bigger piece, okay, your 6-inch piece goes to the left hand side. And remember, you've got your hinge where it ends, so stay above there. So stay mostly where you can see the page. Okay, line that up well. Now we have a magnet right here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to sit this here and make sure. But, there's really nothing I could do about it if it didn't fit. Hi, hi, Sissy Sue. My middle name is Sue. My mom used to call me Sissy Sue growing up. And that's another reason I like to use the big magnets. You have more of a surface to work with. So if it was a hair off, it would still catch. And of course, this is going here to the very edge of our book. And okay, close is great. Then we'll have those darling ornaments, but we're going to open it up and well, actually, we're going to set this aside for a minute. And we want to create our 2 flaps that we have. And we are going to knot them first. So if you have the kit, of course, if you're not using the kit, that's okay too. We're going to pull out our green, kind of like your green on green stars. And we're taking these if you've got the single sheets. If not, well, some of you might have collection kits, 3 of them that got put in there. And our next one we want, hold it the polka dots. And then I used the red on red that will go down on the main page. Is our red on red snowflakes. Oh, you know what? I have to tell you guys something here in a second. No, that's not the wrong one yet. Okay, this one. It's further on in the book, and then I'll tell you. Okay, these are the guys we're going to use. So I use one of those double matte arcade parts. Then I use the green on the back of the flaps. And you have enough paper, you can choose if you want to use the red snowflakes. Totally up to you. Or you can use both the greens on the front and both the reds. So let me show you. And this is where our 2 4x6 head parts come in play. And here is the green on green stars, and then your red and white. But you might want to do both of these green. I didn't because this had so much green in it. And then I put the green on the back, the red We won't do this part. This was from leftovers. And they're just cute little photo mats. The book. So we've got these guys, and we do know these are 4 inches by 6 3/8. So I'll put my first piece in. I'm going to cut it at 3 7/8. And I'm going to turn it to the side. Why does that look funny? Oh, it's not too small. It just looks small. So now that was 6 3/8. So we want to cut this at 6 1/4. And we're going to set him aside. We want to repeat with our red. And we're going to cut a few more of these since I used the green on the back. I'll go back and cut that. Okay, so 3 7/8. The only thing, you don't have a bar, so your hand has to line it up if you're just getting used to the Caterpillar cutter. And 6 1/4. So I am going to cut this piece at 6 1/4. And then we're going to cut 2 more at 3 7/8. These are going on the back. And our cut apart. So first cut, putting that right at 6, but we need to cut this down. See, it's bigger. And so this was 3 7/8. First cut is going to be at 3 7/8 so that we keep it symmetrical. Then I'm going to turn it to the other side and cut it in 3 3/4. But let me show you. I still would like a little bit more top and bottom. Sides look good to me. So I want to take off. And it depends on your cutter. I'm just using my 16th right now. And then I'll take another one off. 3 5/8. And if you want more polka dot, you definitely can take more off of your cut apart. And we'll do the same thing for the most wonderful time of the year. Put it in 6 again. You know, these aren't exactly perfect, so I want to make sure I get that where I got a little bit of the other cut apart, the green on there, so I put that away. And let's start at 3 7/8. And on a cut apart like this, you see how this is already a little bit off the flowers. Don't want to really cut it to that guy there. Um, for small cuts, yeah, Heather, because you can't use your dolly for these little cuts. And I did like my Stampin' Up! One, but this I don't ever have to buy blades. So I am going to take I'm gonna go to, 3 3/4 and see they still look symmetrical. But now if I take any more off, they're not. So I'm gonna take a 1/16 of an inch off. Now I'll take another 16th of an inch off, which puts me at 3 5/8. Or you're just taking little pieces off at a time. Oops, I want green. And I like the way that looks. Yes, you need to put in an order. But here's the thing. There is a bigger one, but I don't use the bigger one like I use this one. Love this one. But you do have to get used to holding your paper down so that it stays straight. And so you're gonna want to practice with it. Okay, now we're just going to ink all of our edges here on all of our papers. And our 2 back pieces. Looking for Homer. He must have gone upstairs to sleep. I think it's because Wilbur snores too much. He's over here snoring. And we're done there. Put those aside. And I'm going to do my double matting right now. Ooh. Too much glue there. Reason I do that is I want it to be flat. See, now it's nice and flat. When you use glue, that don't get that glue spread out. You're gonna have some bubbly paper, even with our glitter glue. There, go around that edge. It's kind of like sealing up that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then we can make sure it doesn't come out from the top flap. Now, you have to remember this is a top flap. Top flap. So this has got to be pointing this way. And our bottom flap. Okay. I'm going to show you one more time. So if you're new at making albums, the top flap, see this half inch on the back side here. Your bottom, when you flip it down, so that needs to be facing away from you as you're working. If you don't, you're going to be really sad because your cut apart will be upside down. Okay, so please make sure you check that. And then, so that's my top and that's my bottom. Oops, and then making sure you do put it on so it's not upside down. Oh, quit moving. Everything wants to move. There are no magnets on this. There's no need for it because we have the magnet on the flap. Now, one reason that I did choose to use the star green on green, it's not directional. Where see that was directional. It's really cute, but this is not directional. And I know how directionally challenged I can be. So I felt this would be much better. But you are welcome to use either side. This is a very cute side, but and also the plain just makes it a lot nicer for photos. Now I can put a white photo mat there, which I probably will do to put the photo on when I get ready to do this. In December of 2023, we will have our book all done. Let's go ahead and miter our corners. And now we will repeat for the top. Whoops, I can't hang on to nothing. Okay, same thing on the back. It's not directional, so you don't have to worry how you're putting it down on the flat. Sure, how to use the white. How to use the white. How to use this. Um, do you have this, Diane? Do you mean this part that you just put down? Or do you mean this? Oh, it's stuck. Or do you mean this part? Because I know there are some inner parts. You have to screw on the pink, then this blue, and then the white, and then this is your cap, and I just put it on and screw it on. But you can let me know better, Diane. Oh, so this one? I wish I had one in the package to show you. So at the end, I will, if you're still with us, because I know sometimes you have to go fix dinner. I'll I'll pry that off. It gets stuck with the glue. Now, remember when you're first working with your book, if this is the first time, it's going to be stiff, and that's normal because once you start flipping and flopping it, yeah, this little guy just goes on. Now, if you haven't put the pink down here and then the blue on top, this is going to be too short for this. And I've seen some asking me about that because it wasn't fitting perfectly. You have to put the pink, then the blue, then the white. Okay. Now, the reason our flaps were 6 3/8, our pages is 6.5, and we don't want anything to get in the way of the flaps, correct? So that one just did. So we got to make sure that we are doing a little test run first. Depends on how you put this on. We're we're gonna make sure I have it over far. That's perfect. And then is that one perfect? Yep. So it looks like I need to stay away from the left-hand one. Okay, I will definitely show you at the end, Diane. If you're still here, I hope you're still here. If not, I can message you based on you possible when it's good for you. And I like to make my inside flaps that 1/8 of an inch shorter. It gives me that playroom. Again, just check it. If you're using glue, then you can move it a hair. And perfect. Now for the top one, I am turning my book upside down because I can work better with it here towards me. I pretty much want to match them up. Whoops, got to go over. And just making sure we're good. Now this will calm down and not be so stiff if yours is stiff because we double matted. Okay, let's go ahead and mat our page. This is 6.5 by 8.5, but we may have to trim things down, but we don't want to do it until we dry fit our page. So I'm going to cut this at 12. Cut this at 12. This side is directional, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to go, I want to be able to have that whole piece. So we're going to cut first. Let me show you from this side, might be here. There we go. So 6 3/8. See, now I have this whole piece to put aside for another page. And now this time I don't care. And I'm going to cut it at 8 3/8. Let's make sure it's going to fit because we've got these flaps. And there's nothing, see, there's nothing worse than your paper getting bent after you glued it down. Nope, nice, tight, good package. So I don't need to trim it. And down that goes. Hi, Denise. That's okay. I won't give you demerit today, but next time. No, just kidding. No, actually, I will be having, we're going to have a little schedule change because one of the gals that works at the store, and she's going to be coming in the mornings on Tuesday, but that's not right now. It'll just be next week will be normal, and I'll get that posted. So I'll actually be doing the tutorials from Thursday to Tuesday. So don't get used to Thursdays, guys. We're going to do next week on Thursday, yes, February 16th. And then I will definitely do an extra one on the 20th because it's a holiday, and then I'll be doing one on Tuesday so that I'm going to do the tutorials a little bit earlier. But they're recorded, so you have full access to them at any time. So down that goes, and there we go, page 1. We just will have that decorating. And we'll do that later. So now let's go ahead and create this cute little flap. We have this front flap here with a pocket that will hold our tag that we will also be doing with the Heartfelt Creations tag die. And there are more on the website. Isn't that cute? Now I did sew this on the sewing machine. Yes, it makes it so fun. Picture book for our pocket. And on this one, I did not use a magnet. The pages are pretty heavy that it stayed down. You can, but I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to have got quite a lot of bulk here. So that's one thing to consider. Oh, I don't know. You guys, you must know Wilbur over here snoring. Okay, we've got what dog? We're going to pull out some papers that we're going to be using. Okay, I want you to pull out the white stars. It's actually called Festive Plaid. So we're going to use Festive Plaid. And we are going to be using the green that we have. You should have this piece left over. We're going to be using that. And then we're going to be using some of the polka dots from the front of the page 1. So we will just be using the scraps from that. And then you want your green piece. And they are called Snowy Lane. So we're going to use that. Then you're also going to want to grab the sheet that has your 3x4 cut apart. And we still have 2 of those. Okay. Well, hello. Did, hi, Sherry. Is Sally? Oh, is I didn't see Sally. Is she here? If she's here, she's been hiding. Sherry, I didn't see Sally. I know. Isn't this so pretty, Diane? I just love this. We are going to use. It's a good. We have good cheer, and I'm going to just set those over there while we create all the fun inner parts. So we are now doing the back of page 1. Page 5. So we have a bunch of pieces. I don't know what the circles are for. Huh. We'll just leave that there. Okay, back to page 1. The first thing you want is a 6. Oh, she's watching, but she's not talking. So you're going to want a 6 by 8.5. And I'll be honest with you, we'll trim this down before we create this. You need a 5 by 5.5, a 3.5 by 9.5, a 3.5 by 4, and a 4 by 5.5. So, like I said, I did cut these a month ago, and I just want to check my sizes. So we have 6 by 8.5, which needs to be trimmed. 5 by 5.5. There is my 4 by 4. Okay, that's got to go back in the bag because I believe that's something else. 3.5 by 9.5. Again, that will be trimmed. If you know me, to trim things down. 4 by 5.5. And another 4 by 4.25, which that one paper that said circles. And we don't want to lose those because they're obviously for something. Back to page 1. It says it's for back to page 1, that 4. Oh, you know what they are? It is the tag and the ornament circles. Oh, yeah, no, that is for page. Okay, if you were on here and you see it says ornaments, 6, 1.5 circles, that is actually supposed to appear on the front of page 1. It's right here at the bottom, the ornament, so that's okay, ignore that. But those 2 little pieces I just had out, the 4 by 4.25, is the tag that goes inside of your pocket right here. So that's what that's gonna be for. You do need that. Okay, go ahead and trim my paper just a hair off so it's not too long. And I'll trim my pocket just a hair. Don't like them to be too long, just a little. And we're going to score all of our pieces. And we'll start with the 6 by 8.5. So with the 6-inch across the top of your scoreboard, we'll score it 1/2 inch. And our next one is our 5 by 5.5. And you want to put this with the 5.5 across the top of your scoreboard. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So Sally, I think you were trying to be secretive and everybody sees you. Oh, 3.5 by 9. And 3.5 by 9 1/2. 9 1/2, 1/2 across the top of your scoreboard. Score it 1/2 because it's a pocket, and we'll turn it to the 3.5-inch side and score it 1/2. And we will turn back to the 9 1/2 side and score it 1/2. Now you have your 3-sided pocket. And our next piece is 3.5. No, it's not. Let's see. Our pocket. There's only one pocket. And we have a 4 by 5.5. Let me find this 4 by 5.5. Okay. You know what, guys? I'm going to have to check this. So hold off on the 3.5 by 4 because I think that got put in the wrong place something when we were editing. So if you're seeing that, don't fret. We're going to come back to it. So we have a 4 by 5.5. And we want to start with the 5.5 across the top. Now this does become a pocket. We want to score at 1/2. And it's marked 5, but you can turn it back and score it at 1/2. So 1/2 and 5, or just turn it the 3 ways. And the 4, we can score it at 1/2. It's the same as we did. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure why I wrote it that way. I'm very sorry. Instructions are wrong for the 3.5 by 9. Oh, you know what? Yes, Tanya's not with us to tell me. So you're right. The pocket is wrong. Okay, let's make if you did score 8.5, it's okay. You're going to cover it with paper. Thank you, Rhonda. So right now I want you to fix this on your 3.5 by 9.5 with the 9.5 across the top of your scoreboard. You score it 1.5. Take off that 8.5 and just score at 1.5. And then your 3.5, you'll score at 1/2, and then back to 9.5 at 1/2. So you're just going to score 3 sides, the 2 short side and the long side. So I'm sorry about that. And I'm not sure what happened with our 3.5 by 4 because that's not a pocket. This is our pocket. The other one's our little flap. So I'm going to have you just cross off that 3.5 by 4. And I don't know. Sometimes in editing, okay, I'm just going to show you one more time where it says 3.5 by 9.5. If you're following the instructions, some of you like to follow instructions, some of you just like to follow what I'm doing. Something happened here for the back of page 1. So 3.5 by 9.5. Let me come up to the camera where it says 3.5 by 9.5. The scoring right here is wrong. I know this is right for the pocket. I just want you to score at 1/2. Turn it to 3.5, score at 1/2. Turn it back to 9.5 and score at 1/2. It's just a pocket. So there's a pocket on top of the flap. Now your pocket on top of your flap is this 4 by 5.5-inch piece. And again, well, it's not really wrong, guys. Tanya wrote it with the 5.5 across the top, score at 1/2 and 5. That's fine. And when you turn it to the 4-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2. So that is right. And that is the pocket that opens this way and will sit on top of this flap. Right now it's too big because of the score marks. So that is our little pocket on top of this flap, and it sits on top of this flap, and this is the pocket for the inside. Okay, so you do need the tag, which was that 4 by 4 1/4. Sorry about the noise. 4 by 4 1/4 is just your tag, and you do not score. Ornaments actually belong on the front, so ignore your ornaments, and now we should be fine. Okay, so if you need me to go over that again, you just let me know. It looks like the only real issue is with the 9.5 across the top of your scoreboard. We left off on the 1/2 inch score lines. And we kind of had an extra here, a 3 1/4 by 4. That don't belong there. I'm not sure what that's there for. So that's just one of our human errors. So we're going to basically grab this one right here, our biggest one, 6 by 8.5. Okay, we're going to go. I want to go over this one more time. So on your instructions, we have a 6 by 8.5. That's correct. A 5 by 5.5, and that is correct. When you get to your 3.5 by 9, just scoring. Your scoring has been left off a 1/2 inch score line is all. Okay, it's a pocket. So just score these two short ends at 1/2 and then 1/2, and turn and score at 1/2. Okay. Then we have a 3.5 by 4, and you're just going to ignore that. Now your 4 by 5.5 is a pocket. So one of the no, it wasn't left off with the 5.5 across the top of your scoreboard. Score it 1/2, score it 5, and then turn it to the 4 inch side and score it 1/2. And then your little tag has no scoring. Now I'll go through the scoring with you as we're putting things together. Okay, so your 6 inch piece, we've already scored a 1/2 inch. So we're going to furnish that score line, and I want to go ahead and cut my corners, mitering them. Then I'm going to take my next piece. We've already scored it, the 5.5 across the top. This is your 5.5 by 5. And we have scored it at 1/2 inch. And this sits in the middle of the page, so you really don't have to miter the corners. Mitering the corners at the top and the bottom of a full size kind of helps that paper just write it better. So I'm not even going to bother. Set that aside. And this was our pocket that was 4 by 5.5. Now we did the scoring with the 5.5 across the top at 1/2 inch, and you can score it at the 5, or you can turn it. And then we went to the 4 inch side and scored at 1/2. Otherwise, it's just the 3 sides. Now, if you happen to score the wrong side, don't worry about it. Turn it over, push out that score line, and you're going to paper over the top of it so you'll be fine. But the pocket will sit with the short ends top and bottom. So right now, let's go ahead and just furnish our score lines. And let's go ahead and miter the corners of our pocket. I will miter all Now, after I miter them, I push them in to make sure that he's going to overlap a little bit. Yes, two short, one long. Right now they fit nice. Let me go ahead and miter a little bit off of here. And now our long pocket. Two short, one long. Now, before I do anything further here, I want to grab our flap because when you open this, our pocket is going to sit over here on the opposite side. And I want to make sure it fits nicely on the edge. I don't like my pockets, hanging over. Yep, looks great. We're going to put that on before we put this in the book. And I want to go ahead and miter our corners just like we did on our short pocket, our little pocket. All right. And that's where I'm going to start on this big flap, my long pocket. Okay. Right now my hinge is to the left, but I'm going to flip it over so it's to my right. So my hinge is to the right, open edge to the, or unscored edge to the left, but I'm going to turn it upside down. Okay, so that I can now easily align my pocket to that edge because it will be a vertical. I remember those old party lines. And we'd be on and we'd say, "Get off, I'm using the phone." My great aunt had a party line. It was hilarious. She always knew her neighbor was listening in. Those were the good old days, though. That is for sure. Keep forgetting to grab my spatula to open my pocket. Okay. Now, we want to go ahead. We don't want to put the pocket on first because we do need to map this. But this is going to be kind of up to you. Yes, you had to be very careful what you said. You can mark the middle of your page, which is 4 1/4, totally up to you. In the middle of here, I'm just eyeballing it, and you can bring it more top. I'm going to bring mine down just a little bit more on the bottom because I do have a tag that we'll put up here. Excuse me. I want to go ahead and add this. And then we want to do some matting. We don't want to add that pocket here yet. Well, we used to have to share the line on the phones. There would be, oh, you could have anywhere from 2 to what, quite a few until how their phones became modernized. Okay, now see this little pocket? And it's gonna sit right on top. But we have to do some adding first. And excuse me, that's where I remember he's now 5.5 inches. And I want to start with this guy. Flat on one side, gorgeous flat on one side. And I'm going to go ahead and take that header off. So I'm just putting it at 12. And I'm going to now, did I say that was 5.5 or 5? 5.5. So we're going to now cut this at 5 3/8. Then I want to turn the long waist here, and we're going to cut it 8 3/8. Then show you the bottom. See how I divided the paper? Oh. And that guy was 2.5 inches. So now I'm going to take this piece and I want to cut it at 2.5 inches. I'm going to still need your cutter here for a minute. We are going to be checking this fit. So we have the top piece and I'll put the bottom piece, but I'm going to take my bottom piece. Now you might want more green. If you want, let me show you. If you want your green to stay this way, then you can take it off because I don't like them to touch. If you like yours to touch, then it will fit. Otherwise, you can take it off the green or the bigger one. It doesn't matter. I think I do want more green at the bottom to make sure my hand is hidden. So let me bring this up. And this one now measures out to be 5, and it should be 5 and 7 inches. With you. Yep. So I'm going to take it at 5 3/4. And then my green goes down here. And then you can adjust how you like the fit to be. Oh, yeah, I was a teenager with the party lines too, Diane, and that's the reason we didn't like it. Yeah, we didn't want to, we didn't wanna be bothered with people getting on when we were talking to our friends. Oh, could you imagine party lines now with the creepers that are out there? Oh, we crazy, and the prank calls we used to make, that was that was fun. I'm not saying I ever did it, but it was fun. Yes, I of course, we all did prank phone calls, and then you know what? Boy, were we in a lot of trouble when we got caught. And then I hated when cordless phones came along because my mother, oh, she would take them to work, so we couldn't have them. We had to go to the neighbors if we needed her. because we get gotten in trouble playing on the phones. And here comes Homer. Okay, we got that down. Green. Yeah, do you have Prince Albert? Is your refrigerator running? You better go catch him. You better go catch it. Oh yeah. Oh, now we're gonna do the back and the stars, and the front and the front. Now we've already taken away our measurements, so now we have a 5 by 5. Super simple formatting, right? Oh, you know what? I guess I told you the wrong thing. I get I get these two mixed up. You don't need the small piece. It's these you need. So what we need is a 4 and 7/8. We need two of them. 4 and 7/8 by 4 and 7/8. That's going to be the back of the flap. We need one for the front of the flap at 4 and 7/8 by 4 and 7/8. Oh, no, I take that wrong. This is our double matting piece. So we do need that. We do need that. Flat on the front and stars on the back. Okay. So pretty. Green on the back. And our little pocket now, we can go ahead and now I put it back here at the edge of my paper. So I've got that 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch, I mean, where we our, then our matting starts from our cardstock. And so I'm just going to put it at the edge of the matting so it doesn't get in the way of that flap. And then the nice thing is it's kind of like a stack pocket. Then this little guy, the 4 by 4 1/4, that will fit in here. Actually, he's got to go this way for it. And we'll use some leftover from what we used on the inside front cover. So let's put him down. And I'm just eyeballing my center here. And let's get a good measurement. So our matting, because I double mat, now this is 4.5 flare. We've got a 4.5 by 3.5 inch piece. Again, this is not directional. So the stars will go on here. And we're going to go this way at 4 3/8 by 3 3/8. And now I'll take off. Now we are going to use, these guys. So I'm just going to cut them off at 4. That's where they should measure out to, or pretty close. And then they should measure out at about 3. So now I have my 4 by 3. See my 4 by 3, and that will sit on top. Well, hi, Christine. How are you? Okay, and let's get into your kit. If you've been putting your straps back in, like I said, I'm really sorry about the noise. I'll try and be very careful here because we want the wood grain that we used on the front cover, and you should have some scraps. And it's this one, but it's mine is the work. So, I had put the wood grain. So to be honest with you, let me look. I think we have. Let me see. There should be one more. And so that's not really a big thing. We're going to be cutting into the other one because we basically have we used them both. So we will have a piece left over. So I want to put that in there because I'm not going to right now cut into a good piece of paper for that. We'll get it from our scraps. We have that part done, and now we need to just mat our pocket. And for the pocket, I did very similar to what we did on the front, where we cut the plaid, and then we share it. So we do need another sheet for that. And then we had our polka dots. Let me do something. And you know what? I think we're going to do a little variance here. Because again, I want to use all of our single sheets. We don't really want to break into our next set of question kits. So wait a minute, we did not use those 3 sheets. Maybe we did. So let me tell you, I did, and I sometimes when you're making your sample, see this right here? Because we've got plenty here. We've got this one. Oh no, we got her. Oh yeah, it was those that we cut. Never mind, we're good. We got our polka dot, our plaid. We got our green. As you can see, that is perfect to fit inside of our pocket. I'm going to cut that first at 8 and 3/8. I just knew my length. So we're not worried about those. I thought we'd use them for something else, but I was wrong. And then our pocket is 3 inches now because we scored it 3 by 8.5. So we will cut this at 2 7/8. And then again at 8 3/8. Then I'm going to cut it at 2.5. We're going to do a little bit of a repeat like we did on the front. And I will cut this now at 5 3/4. And let's go ahead and cut the page. And this one is not directional. So my first cut is going to be 6 3/8. And 8 3/8. All set. Well, we're going to go ahead and ink all of our pieces and parts. It was actually gorgeous here today in Utah. I was able to go out and walk. I was shocked. I mean, it's sunny and warm. It's still under 40, but it sure felt like a lot warmer. Okay. I gotta just stand on it. It's the new. Okay. So this little guy's gonna go in here. Just to show you how our setup is while I'm taking a standing break here. And that's how we're going to put that together. Hey, remember you need your hinge, so you want to bring it down below that score line. Making sure my edges are down. Oh, yeah, sunny low 80s in Florida. Well, I know that's tempting, but how's the humidity down there, Wendy, this time of the year? That's the thing that killed me when we were there in June. Ugh, was the humidity. I can see why people live in their pools down in Florida. All right, let's put this into our book. Back of page 1, and it's going to sit over here on the left-hand side. Oh, is it too cool for turn your pool up, Wendy? Turn the pool heat up. Hot tub. That's what you would need. That's exactly where me and my knee are going. We're going to soak in a hot tub with Epsom salts when I'm done. And on the edge it goes. Just hold that for a moment. See how heavy that is? It just holds it down. Oh, thank you, Alice. I'm glad. I love making it. I had a lot of fun with it. So now we're going to add the mat. Again, either side would be really pretty. I'm kind of a green person. I love the green. I've been trying to talk my hubby into a hot tub. He doesn't like hot water. I told him it's not for him. Thank you, Wendy. I wish he'd give in, but that's all right. We really don't need it. Right now, we got to buy food. Who can afford to buy anything else? Right? Except for scrapbook paper and food. That's all we need to survive. Oh, glue. We need our glitter glue. Then we can survive. Okay. Okay. Then that's the back of page 2. So let me look at page 1. I think I mean, the back of the front of page 2. 2. I think we can go ahead and get this one on. And grandkids. Yes. We need the grandkids. So let's go ahead and do this. We're doing pretty good. not quite 8, so let's do the front of page 2, okay? Front of page 2. Let me grab our pieces and parts. Again, I'm not sure what the I know what that is now. We're good. Okay, front of page 2. We're getting there. We're doing great, guys. Okay, Denise, that is extremely, extremely crazy. I know. $7 for eggs is totally out of this world. Okay, front of page 2. You want three and a half by 7 and 1/2 pieces. 3 of those. Then you want a 4 and a half by 12. Okay. Now, 4 and a half by 12. And the reason here, I just had you cut a 12-inch piece. We're going to cut it again. And it was basically left over. So that's all you need. Okay. You're just going to just go with it, right? Because with this one, so this is a 4 and a half by 12. And what you're going to do with this, you're just going to put it in here in your cutter with the 12-inch. We're going to make 2 pieces that are going to become 4 and a half by 12. I just want you to cut that at 7. So now what you have is a top flap and a bottom flap. Actually, it's going to go this way because we need the longer over the top because we put a frame there from Simple Stories. Oh, good night, Susan. Thanks for joining us. And now I know we could have written it but I had put it that way, so I just told Tanya leave it so that I don't get it mixed up in the tutorial. So we're going to start with the 7-inch piece now because we've got a 7-inch piece and we have a 5-inch piece. And this is wrong. I don't know. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. No, it's not. It is half inch. Sorry. 7-inch at the top of your scoreboard. I want you to score at half inch. 5. This is my 5 by 4 and a half at the top of your scoreboard, and I want you to score that at half inch. Again, you have a top and a bottom flap. Then our cute little 3 and a half by 7 and a half inch pieces. You're just going to put this in your scoreboard. This is a problem. Hold on. Where's my book? Oh. This is going to be too long. I didn't double check them after Tanya, I give her the measurements. So we're gonna cut a little bit off, which is just fine because these should have only been, we're gonna change it right now, 6 3/4. I do not know how that got to be that. So let me close this up and get your paper with you guys. Hi, Tiffany. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you all week. I mean, I haven't seen you all month, basically. Okay, guys, we got to make a fix here, okay? See this 3 and a half by 7 and a half? I want you to cross off the 7 and a half. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this 6 3/4. So we're going to trim those. And then we're going to change this. I'm so sorry. Okay. You know what? Or we're going to do it like Tiffany says. Well, Tiffany, we still can't because the page is only 6 and a half wide. So, guys, because we made them 7 and a half. So we're just gonna do this just for since I already told you guys. We're going to cut this down to 6 3/4, so go ahead and change that. But Tiffany just posted a very good, but no, I need them to be shorter than the page, and they're supposed to be shorter than the page. And so we're going to cut these. These are our 3.5 by 7.5 pieces. Yes, you can score it where you need it. Tiffany is absolutely correct. But if you're, well, if you're a little bit handicapped like me, we're just going to, I don't think fast. We're just going to cut these right now at 6 3/4. Now, Tiffany, had you been just a few minutes sooner, I would have probably done that. But since I already told them to change it to 6 3/4, that way it's just a hair short on your page. We don't want it to be too long. You're not lazy. We're going to now have a 3.5 by 6 3/4 inch piece. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch with this 6 3/4 at the top of our scoreboard. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and one more time at 1/2 inch. Scoring's done. Now, what I did is so that we kept, see, I kept the plaid kind of going so the page just coordinates well. So as you can see, we are going to use the plaid. We use the red solids, and we're going to use that red solids here. And I have to tell you about this page. You don't have a piece of paper that looks like this. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I was so excited to get home. I was super excited to get my December daily done. And as you know, I had a total knee replacement. So I had some drugs probably at play. This is a different collection. This is a totally different collection. So we're not using that one. Because, well, as I explained, I kept running home and I was so excited. We're going to use this one. I like this one, but it's not this paper collection. So we're going to be using this one. And then we've already got the other stuff. So that's going to be my piece page. And I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these flaps first. And our flaps are now 3.5. I know. I was so excited. And Tanya said, "Where'd you get that piece of paper?" I said, "I don't know. I thought it was in my kit." And she says, "No, you don't have paper in there that looks like it." So 3.5. Now this becomes 6 1/4 long. So it's going to be so easy. And we want our cutter. And you want the piece that we've already cut into. Okay, and we are going to now open our scoreboard and we're going to cut this. I want the length and it's not directional, so that's great. We want to cut it at 6 1/8. And I want to turn it this way. And we want to cut it at 3 3/8. And we want to cut 3 of those. Again at 3 3/8. And one will be this side. And then we want to cut those flaps right out. And it's going to be a cut apart sheet. And it has those cute little Christmas ornaments on the back of our cut apart. It's okay. You've got another set, so that you don't have to fear. And then we need red from your solids. And if you would prefer a different color, that's fine. And it really doesn't matter which red you choose because you're going to need the 2 sheets. But I did use one's really a darker and one's a lighter. One will be on the back of the lighter green. So again, we want to cut a piece because I put it on the back of all the flaps. So I'm going to cut a piece that's 6 1/8 and 3 pieces that are 3 3/8. Yeah, you have to be a little more precise with this one, and that's okay because then you just double check your cuts here. You should have. Did you just use that plat on? You should have 2 sheets of that, and then one inside of your collection kit. Now this guy, excuse me. Actually, you don't need them both. I forgot. You just need the one. So remember our 4.5 by 12. So now I'm just going to cut this at 4 3/8 by 6 7/8 because one piece is 7, and then one at 4 7/8. And I use this on the front. Well, we'll get that taken care of for you, Elizabeth. There should be a collection kit and then 2 of each sheet. There should be. So now we want to cut this at 4 3/8. Now this one is directional and our flaps do open. So we'll cut it at 4 3/8, and then once again, I'm going to cut a piece at 6 7/8 and 4. Excuse me, at 4 7/8. Not cute. That cut perfect. That one we gotta save. And I did round. Let me show you. So these 2 guys I did round. If you want to go ahead and round those, we'll do it all now. We'll get our papers rounded. Now, where this is directional, so this is going to be on the bottom. So make sure your 1/2 inches at the bottom. Linda, I will when it's directional. Well, yes, if the smallest, or like I just did here. So if it's only like if it's less than 6, well, yes, you want to. Sometimes if I need to get 3 pieces where we did the 3.5, see, I would have cut this at 6 1/8 and then done my 3 3/8 where I only need this one piece of 4 3/8. Yes, I'm going to cut the directional that way first. Then I won't waste the rest of my paper. So the answer is it kind of depends on the width. And see, I didn't need a lot of the width. Oh, you know what, guys? Cut this too on. It's only 4 and forgot. We got to take 1/2 inch off. So it's only 4 3/8. So let's trim this down to 4 3/8 because I forgot the 1/2 inch. And this little guy, now he only needs to be 7, 6.5. So it needs to be 6 3/8. And then remember, this guy needs the 1/2 inch at the top. And now I can cut my corners. If you're doing that right now. It's still too long. Sorry. Tanya is home. Oh, and there goes Wilbur. Sorry. That woke him right up. She was busy working in the warehouse. Okay, those two are good. Now I got to trim down these sides. Trim it down to 4 3/8. And we'll trim this down to 6 3/8. This, it doesn't matter. So we can go ahead and just cut those corners. Make sure it's there. Our pile. Okay. Now we can ink everything up. Put this on. Oh, and this one does on our flap. This is going to have a magnet. You could tie it. I do use magnets with this page. We used it. One here, one here. So I'll show you what we're going to do. This one is a little bit harder to match up. I'll show you. So let's get all my papers so we can use all these. I am doing the back side. I don't want to smear it on the front. Elizabeth, if you're still out there, I'm going to have you message Tanya. Just tell her that I asked you to message her because she's been pulling warehouse papers, and that way we make sure that the two that you need are pulled. like I mentioned, this is going to go under. Actually, I had this short one come up, and then we'll be doing the frame, but not this. We're not going to do the frame tonight. The frame sits up on this short one, so let's see, then you can pull it. So we want to go ahead and lay this here. Pages 8.5. See, I'm just turning it this way now. Then we want our magnets and a positive. So we need this to be more towards the top for this bottom one. Okay. Now we should be, yeah, we're going to be just fine. Again, directional paper means we need to make sure that this is going the right direction for the pattern that we've chosen. That way it doesn't get put on upside down. Now, this really could have, well, if you like your light bulb going upwards, it could go either way. But I always look at the back side to see which way my pattern on the back side's going. And then I have a pretty good idea which way to set this up. Oh, good night, Wendy. And yes, we are almost done, but I wanted to really get the front of page 2 done because I was supposed to have done that extra show, and that was going to, or the extra tutorial, and that was going to put us just here to here to be doing this page and that. So now this has got us up to where I wanted to be for the front page 2 and put me on schedule with you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the red on the back. Okay. I did not miter the corners. There's really no need to with this one. It doesn't go from side to side. It sits in the center. Okay, we'll flip up and put our red. Okay. I was doubting myself there for a minute. Okay, we'll set that aside. We don't put these on till after we put the flaps down. Now I've got one with the green and two with the plaid. So I'm gonna do that one first. No magnet. They're smaller. I'll just put the red on and we'll smoosh it out so it's flat. And now I've got two plaids. Those will be great photo spots. And our last flap. Okay, that's not bad. I said we'll go to about 8. And we're not far off. Okay, let's get this baby put together. Our book. And this is on the front of page 2. So I did not put my flaps to the top. I'm brought them about 1/8 of an inch from the top and 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. These two, and then this one, the flap will be on the left-hand side. So I want to go ahead and put these two down first. And you can measure, I'm just eyeballing it, but it is about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. So I'm going to say it's more of 1/4 of an inch that I'm doing. 3/8 of 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. Ooh. Ooh, there. And the top one, I will try and keep it about the same distance from the top. Okay. Now, this little guy, hinge to the right. Hinge to the right. And it's going to go somewhat in the middle. So I'm just going to check here. Bring that down. Pretty much in the middle of these two flaps. Okay. I'm doing it down here. Just to get an eye where I want it. Okay. Now we'll get our base page in here soon, but we want to put down the other flaps first. And these will hold this shut, okay? So I'm going to just slide one kind of under this flap. Slide it under your flap. Same with the top one. It's going to slide under there for a minute. I'm just getting placement. We just want it somewhere pretty much in the center. I'll just open. Pretty much centered it. Get rid of that glue. See, this can be on top. It's totally up to you how you want the look to be. Now I am turning my book upside down. So I can get it even, but that guy needs to come open. I can have room to work. Let that magnet grab, and then I'll put it down. Okay, let go. There we go. Okay, now that way. So when we go back to the decorating, this is going to be your simple story frame, and I will do this with you. But this is where I'm going to end tonight. Otherwise, we'll just keep going and going and going. And we will end here till next Thursday when we meet again, and we'll go ahead and make the frame, and we'll do page 2. So we are really moving right along. I'm really excited, and then we'll get these other pages worked on. My goal is that we get it done by the end of the month, and we really should. We really should. So we've gotten pretty far now, and you'll see we've got lots of space in between our pages, but we still have a lot of stuff to add. So that's where I'm going to leave you with at the front of page 2, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get this done. And then, and then, oh my gosh, let me think here for a minute. Elizabeth, sorry. Okay, I did see. Okay, go ahead and give Tanya a buzz there, and we'll get that all taken care of for you. So I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight, and then I will see you next week. Bye.